Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of From the Fourth Line. My name's Emma, and I'm joined, as always, by my lovely co-host, Marcie.
Hello.
We're doing this on the Tuesday, unlike our regular scheduled Monday, mostly because it was a holiday Monday yesterday, and I don't think we've ever recorded on a holiday Monday.
No.
But it's usually my holiday Mondays.
Yeah. So I get just like so many holiday Mondays now.
No, like you just get like you get Family Day, you get Victoria Day, which is like half British anyways, so it's fine. It's the reason why we have it is to celebrate the Queen's birthday. The Queen Victoria, who's very dead.
Yeah, she's not looking too good right now.
No, but so we didn't also I was I went out for brunch with friends of mine from high school, passed Danny Jansen, the Blue Jays catcher, in the middle of a crosswalk on my way there. Then went to a Jays game, became two beer baseball Emma.
My favorite Emma.
And then ended up hanging out with going out for dinner and then going to a sports bar to watch the Oilers and Canucks game.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah.
What a game.
What a game that was. But first, I think honestly it works better for us that we are recording this podcast episode on today instead of yesterday, because if you were actually on your phone at 5 p.m. on a Friday before a long weekend, you would have seen the news that came through that the Leafs had hired officially their new head coach to replace Sheldon Keefe, and that is, surprise, surprise, Craig Berube.
Whoa! No way.
Absolutely zero shocker there with that one.
Who'd have thought?
I think he was the front runner the entire time.
Yeah. Yeah, it was basically him from the beginning.
Him from the beginning, and then people had like the far out fantasy dream of landing Rod Brind'Amour, but that did not happen. Spoiler alert. But yeah, Craig Berube named the Leafs' new head coach. It was on Friday, literally at 4 p.m. And I am actually very glad that Brad Treliving addressed this, because straight off the bat in the press conference that was today, he was like, first of all, I want to thank you guys. I know we made the announcement like 5 p.m. on Friday before the long weekend. I just want to say, like, the reason we did it is because we like to get our news out right away instead of sitting on it, probably so no one blabs to someone over, like, we don't get a leak. But like, not that they're really like, we knew what was going to happen. The only thing I will say though is it's like, well, we'd like to get it out right away. If you look at when the tweet went out, it went out right at 5 p.m. Like 5 p.m. exactly. That was a scheduled post right there.
Yeah.
That's not someone going, oh, everything's all good and sorted. You know what? 4:45. Let's press post before we go home. No. 5 p.m. That was scheduled.
It was either scheduled or a coincidence that is so incredibly impossible that it's just not.
Or the Twitter, whoever runs the Twitter account for the Leafs was like, okay, 5 p.m. on a long weekend. I'm clocking out, so it's going up now.
It's not my problem anymore.
But yeah, so anyway, it doesn't matter when it was going out. I mean, it's not the first time the Leafs have announced some news on the Friday before a long weekend. That was like the Kyle Dubas special was announcing news the Friday before a long weekend. It's not the first time. Honestly, I was like, you know what? That's the most like Leafs thing ever, though. It to be like the guy that everyone knew, and it's still like the news is Friday before the long weekend. But yeah, so there was a press conference today. That you watched all of it. I watched most of it because I was on the train coming back from Toronto, and so I was in a part where it was like literally 1 bar of service. Again, for the second, this is the second press conference in the past 2 weeks where that's been the case.
You've been going through it recently.
No, the Leafs just decide to always schedule their press conferences at the end of the season when I'm on a train, and it's always like the timing is just when I'm like going through the one part of the train journey, I guess, where it's 1 bar of service for like 25 minutes.
Because of course.
Because of course, right? Yeah, like that's the thing. It's of course, and it's like, anyways, but if you're familiar with the Ottawa to Toronto, it's between like Fallowfield and Smith Falls. Like 1 bar the entire way. But anyways, there was a press conference, so I don't know. I have some notes. I did put my notes on Twitter, so people could read them. But I guess we can discuss. There's certain points that I do want to discuss right away, like just talking about it. One of them is that like this was, according to Brad Treliving, a 2-week process. But and then apparently also he had 9 different candidates. Would love to. I know we're never gonna find out those 9, like those 8 other names.
Who was
but
it?
I would love to know who the 9 others are, because there was a couple front runner, like I think like Jared Gallant's name was thrown out there. Todd McLennan, his name was thrown out there, right? I mean, we had people tracking a flight from LAX again, for him, right? So that was. But like, that's still like only 3 guys if you then include Craig Berube. So who were your 5?
Yeah.
Who were you?
Was it?
Who were you talking to? Was it some internal? Like maybe it was, I don't know. If it was Guy Boucher, I would actually commit crimes.
Oh.
I was back around Scotiabank Arena last weekend, so I will not commit crimes against the MLSE office. Will not be doing that. But yeah, I just would love to. Brad Treliving did say, he was like, I'm not gonna say who the 9 people, like who the candidates were. I'm not gonna give you the list.
Well, don't tell us there's a list. We're nosy.
I know, you can't say that and then not throw out at least one name.
Literally, it's like just give it something, a tiny crumb. Just like, oh, it could have been this guy.
And then he says maybe like anyways, so then he talked about how they went about the process of hiring a new head coach. Said they built a profile first about what they wanted the coach to be, and then look for the person who could best fit that profile, which I guess, makes sense. That's a good way to do it, I guess. I've never hired a coach before, so, but
I can't say I get up
then he
to
says
it
like, no, but then he says the most like romantic, like weirdly romantic just quote kept coming back to Craig.
It's like, okay. We see you.
Like, okay, Brad. Like, keep it in your pants here. The media's around.
Like, I hope you took him out to dinner first. Jeez.
Oh, I mean, probably there was a dinner involved in the process, but yeah, and then he listed out 4 main things, like qualities that he saw in Berube. Is it Berube or Berube? Because Treliving kept saying Berube, and I was like, that's not right.
No, I said Berube.
I say Berube too, but he kept saying Berube the entire time. I don't know if you noticed that.
Yeah, I was sat there and I was like, it literally, like, not to be a 13-year-old boy, but it does sound like he's just saying booby.
No! Okay, well, I guess that now, like, when he does his first thing to piss us off, like, put out a bad lineup, we can call him Coach Booby. Coach Booby. We'll never top I will forever miss the angry Eminem Sheldon meme, though.
I'm still genuinely
Mourning.
really upset about it. I can't use it anymore.
We're gonna have to find some new
She just
Craig.
get hired to a team that I like.
Watch him go to like New Jersey. I don't know how you feel about New Jersey. I don't know how do you feel about New Jersey?
Yeah. They were one of the teams that I'm like, I will watch them and I don't mind them. I think they're quite cool. They've not done anything to offend me.
Yeah. They're just kind
But
of
like,
like there.
yeah, they're there. They're a fun team to watch because like it's
Yeah.
always just a good game.
We're also like two people who are fairly neutral about Jack Hughes. Are you not? Do you have
I don't have beef with him, but
No,
like
okay. No. But like I guess what I should have said instead of fairly neutral, I should have said we don't have a weird obsession with Jack Hughes.
yeah.
Because
The
I
the
think
the thing is that's the thing. It's not him personally
it's
that I have beef with. It's like the specific group of people on Twitter
who would
who like
I
worship the ground he walks on.
and stalks his girlfriend on Instagram.
Yeah,
That
that's
was
him.
the topic of we're not going to talk about that, but that was a
No.
thing this weekend where I was like, oh my God.
Mm,
I think also the thing is as well as, and I'm not saying it, I'm not like, this is not me like shitting on people around our age, like 20s.
yeah.
Oh.
Oh no, don't say that.
But like, anyway, because like, we weren't in middle school for Jack Hughes, like for Jack Hughes getting drafted, right?
Mm,
Whereas like we're just slightly older than like most of the people who like are that demographic of people on the internet of Jack Hughes fans.
mm,
So like we feel that way about Mitch Marner.
yeah,
History does repeat itself.
it does. But I think yeah, it's less him that I have like beef with, and more just some of the people on Twitter that
Yeah.
are like,
I feel I that's why I said like feel very fairly neutral about Jack
yeah,
Hughes. So I don't know. That just means I also feel like fairly neutral about the New Jersey Devils. They haven't done anything to offend me yet.
no. I like Dawson Mercer. I think he's cool.
He's
He's
fun.
really
Yeah,
fun
love
to
a good
watch.
newfie. Love a
We
good newfie.
mm, we do.
He had a goal today, actually, at
Did he?
Worlds. Yeah,
Oh,
against
look at him
Czechia.
go. Well done.
We'll talk about that Worlds game. We'll talk a little bit about Worlds as well because it's the end of the prelims today, which also means we have to talk about Team GB.
Do we? Do we have to?
It's okay. We also have to talk about Poland, so I have to
Yeah.
feel sad about my ancestors as well.
Yeah, we can all be miserable.
Um, but yeah, sorry. So we need to find some good Craig memes. I think I will go through the Degrassi archives. There was a main character on Degrassi for quite a few seasons named Craig who had some pretty great moments.
Nice.
So I think
rely
I'll go
on
through
you
the
for this.
Degrassi archives and pull up some good Craig memes to use. But yeah, so he said, sorry, this is what Treliving said about qualities in Berube that I saw was leadership, ability to build a team first, concept when it comes to his team building, accountability with players, and his ability also as well to connect with the players. And I think, that seems to be what Treliving kind of wants to focus on is building a team-centric environment. Not to say that that maybe wasn't the case prior in Toronto, because I don't want to say that because that's what people are saying and that's how they're taking it. He just really that's what he wants to have. And it
Yeah,
doesn't mean that that doesn't already exist. It
it's just
just
this is
means
his
that that's what he
priority.
wants to continue.
Mm.
Right? Because people were taking it as when he said that, like he wants it to be very like a team centric, and he kept talking about team focus, team first, and all these sort of different ways of putting the same concept. then a lot of people were like, okay, well then that means before it wasn't like that. And it's like, no, it just means that like he wants to continue that aspect.
Mm.
Sometimes there's,
Like it's
anyways, critical thinking.
Yeah. It'd be nice for
And
people to have it.
yeah, there was like, and then there was a really weird question. I can't remember who asked it. And then after opening statements as well, then there was questions by the media as well, where like everyone was there. Elliot Friedman was there and he asked a question. That's how you know.
Yeah, I heard her like Elliot Friedman, and I was like, oh, hi you.
Yeah.
What are you
I was like,
doing
he
here?
had a late night the night before and he's already up at, well, the press conference started at 11, so it's not like, totally early. But yeah, so then there was a question that got asked to Berube about like when he would coach against the Leafs, what were like the shortfalls or the ways to beat them, and he was like, I don't really think about that. I think about my own team, which I'm like, that's like the best answer you could have had. Right? Anyway,
Yeah.
once again, shout out to the Leafs media relations team. They do a great job.
They do.
And yeah, he wants to build. Anyways, coming back to this, then Trilliving, then against, reestablished that it's difficult to have success this time of year, aka in the playoffs. Mentioned trust, and then Berube's ability to command respect and have a presence in the locker room. He talked to people around the game about Craig Berube and like how he is as a person. One quote, it was like quietly brilliant, which I think is pretty cool thing to say, like to have said about you. And then also like a lot of people will go through a wall for Craig. I'm like, okay.
It's a good sign.
And then Trilliving to the nice thing of reestablishing being like, I don't think Sheldon Keefe is a bad coach or a bad person. It's just you need a different voice in the room, which is true. Which is like fine. Like I think, you know what? And for us rational people about these sort of things, Trilliving reiterating that Sheldon Keefe was not a bad coach seems a little bit excessive, but you know why he's doing it.
Yeah.
Because someone would say something about it. And then this is just when I just like complain about the questions that were being asked. I'm getting to this is when I get to the Steve Simmons question.
Yeah.
Steve Simmons, literally it was like he introduced himself. He was like, Steve Simmons, Toronto Sun. I was like, no, brother. And like the guy who was sitting beside me on the train could literally probably was like, what are you watching? Like, what are you listening to that has you like visibly frustrated?
Just head in hands, absolute despair.
I literally had my head in my hands and I was like, oh my God. And the guy behind me, this really nice German man, he was a lovely person to sit next to on the train. Yeah, it was nice. I mean, I did nap for like 2 hours, so.
Shout out to the really nice German man.
Well, yeah, my train was at 6:41 in the morning, so I napped for 2 hours.
Ouch.
But I had my McDonald's breakfast and then I napped for 2 hours.
Ooh, question: what did you get for McDonald's breakfast?
Egg McMuffin with sausage.
Nice.
And then 3 hash browns.
So real. I'm so glad you said that.
A medium regular coffee.
I am so glad you made the right choice. That is also what I get. But I get the little orange juice instead because I like orange juice.
Nice. Yeah, no, I did a coffee because I felt like I needed it.
It was
it did burn my fingers the entire time. They did not have any sleeves to give me. And I was like, I really wish I had not a hot coffee. I wish I had iced coffee, but because I also was every time I'm in Union Station, I sweat my ass off. So
yeah.
But yeah. Anyway, so Steve Simmons asked a question about goaltending. It's May. It's May. It is May 21st.
The guy's been there for like 5 seconds.
He's been there since probably 9 a.m. this morning. He's been officially, like, he probably got his, like, security access badge at 9 a.m. He's had access to Scotiabank Arena in terms of, like, whatever. He probably has, like, an all access. He probably can go wherever the fuck he wants. But, like, he's had that for 2 hours. Probably. Like, dude probably is still... Actually, I don't know where Craig Berube is from. I can find that. I do have his hockey DB page open right now. Oh, he's from Alberta. So good Alberta boy. Him and William Nylander can bond. Anyways, but like he's probably still living in a hotel, like living out of a hotel room right now.
Yeah, it's like this man has not spent a single second thinking about the goaltending yet.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No. Especially, and then there were people, and this is where I'm like, this is what happens. What, like, it's like, and then there were people who already have preconceived notions about what they think the roster is going to look like come September, right? And therefore, they are choosing to read what is being said in a way and mold it to fit what they want to believe, which is the same way of walking into a crime scene and automatically assuming that a murder had occurred.
Yeah, it's...
Right? Right? So, that's why I think, like, it's May, like, it's his first day. He's probably not going to be able to give you an answer on who he is going to sign or trade, like, who he wants to sign or trade for in terms of goaltending.
Yeah. I was sat, and, like, as soon as I heard the question, I was like, there are, like, how are some people allowed to be in that room and why not? It baffles me. It baffles me.
Exactly. I'm like, literally, some of the questions that are asked, I'm like, you're telling, like, we should be in that room.
You're like, how
there's
is
nothing
this
that makes me more, like, there's nothing that makes me more upset of, like, how hard it is to get into sports, and then seeing the people that are just like will be there forever, then hearing questions that are asked at a Leafs press conference.
It did make me want to, like, just slam my head in a car door. I was just sat there, I was like, yeah. How?
Yeah, but anyway, like, that's and it was like a thing too, where it's like Ben Treliving jumped in and was like, we have not yet spoken about our roster decisions. He then said himself, I have not made a decision, and I have, like, then he was like I said, I've been focused on hiring a new head coach for the past 2 weeks. I have not thought about our roster. Scouting meetings start this week, in terms of amateur and pro scouting meetings. So, which is when they will start to make decisions about the roster. And then freaking Kevin, I don't know which Kevin it was, asked another question about roster decisions and got the same exact answer about it being Craig's first day. Like,
no shit. Like, in my notes, the first thing I've written is word for word, can we please, for the love of God, stop asking goaltending and roster questions? It's his first day.
Like, also, it's like, I know it's like,
answer from it.
No, you're gonna get a non-answer. And people then take that non-answer as, oh, we're gonna trade Mitch Marner for UC Saros, and he's gonna do a tandem with Joseph Wool, and that's how we're gonna do it. How did you get that from what was said? Genuinely, look me in the eye, like, look me in the eye and be like, oh yeah, no. It is going to be UC Saros for Mitch Marner that trade is going to be a trade that happens.
No, because
I think
I saw a trade on Twitter today. That they
oh
were,
god, no,
I can't remember what it was. And I think that's because
it was a Mitch Marner mock.
It was a Mitch Marner
was it
mock.
was it to Edmonton? There was a really bad
No.
Edmonton one.
I can't remember. I think genuinely for my own sanity, my mind has just erased it. But I do know that I saw one on Twitter earlier, and I was sat and I was like, "This is genuinely the stupidest thing I've ever heard."
I keep seeing an Arizona one. Well, not Arizona. Utah one. And it's always like Lawson Krause and Logan Cooley. I'm like, why would they do that? In what world? Oh yeah, let's trade the gut. Like, I know, hockey is a business, and so you're not going to be actively thinking about like, hey, this player's wife is expecting a child. We maybe should not trade them. But it's like, in what world are you going to trade Lawson Krause, whose wife is pregnant and has been a mainstay in that organization in Arizona, Utah, whatever you want to put it, for his like, you know what I mean? Like, like a very much a leader in that group. And yes, we're going to trade him to Toronto. In what world? And then also as well, we're going to trade one of our like most exciting young players in Logan Cooley. And this is not even me dissing on Mitch Marner. This is genuinely me being like, I don't know why, like, people are anyways, we're not going to talk about Mitch Marner and the fact that it's a no trade clause. You're going to be upset. Like, even people who want him gone are never going to be happy with the actual trade if he does get traded.
Oh no.
Because you're going to lose that trade every single time, and then people are just going to get upset that the trade is bad, and then we're going to have to hear about being like, oh, that trade was such a mistake, and then we're going to be like, well, you wanted it.
Yeah.
Literally, you wanted it.
At this point, no matter what happens, like if he gets traded, no matter like who we get in return, they're still gonna find a way to be pissed at him. They're still gonna find a way to be like, oh, well, this is all Mitch's fault. It's like, you wanted this. You wanted this to happen. You can't then go and blame the guy who's just been traded. They'd find a way.
Like that. They'd find a way, especially if there was salary retention too.
Oh.
Oh my god. Anyways, and then then Elliot Friedman asked a question about honesty. I don't know. I like half heard it. I was like, I don't know what you're asking. And because it kind of led into a question about like the additional demands of working in Toronto, like working for the Leafs and in the market and things like that. And he had a good answer about being like, it doesn't affect me. I'll go about my job the exact same way that I did in St. Louis, but he understands the additional demands of the market. Like, he knows those are there, but it won't affect, which is like, I'm like, okay, hats off to you, Craig.
Yeah, that's
good job. I don't know. I just liked how he answered all the questions. I was like, you know what, this is.
Yeah. It was, I think the one thing that like makes me quite happy about it is the fact that, now, Sheldon, I love you, but it's the fact that we actually like got answers.
And that's the thing, is a lot of people were being like, oh, they said nothing. And I'm like, actually, you know what? No. Because there's not a lot to ask about right now. Because it's his first day, and it's not like you don't know who he is as a coach, because he coached in the NHL for a year. Like, he was in St. Louis for quite a long time, actually. And and he's like it's not like he also played over 1,000 games in the NHL. So it's not like you're a stranger to who he is, but also it's like he didn't have a lot to say because A, it's May, and B, it's his first day on the job.
Yeah, like he's not gonna come in with like a big long list of like.
He's not going to come in with a
down.
whiteboard and going to be like, all right, so this is how we're going to drop our power play next season.
Yeah, he's not going to like walk in, put a list on the table and just go, right, this is everyone we're getting rid of.
Yeah.
It like for the like few things that we could have actually asked questions about, we got a lot more than I was expecting.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. Like, especially just, I think specifically the way he answered this question was like, and no offense to Sheldon on this, but like Sheldon would not have answered that question that way.
No.
Where, and I think that's what like Elliot Freeman was talking about when he said like, oh, your honesty, do you think it's going to come back to bite you? And he's like, no, I'm going to still continue to operate the same way I have anywhere else I've coached. Because that's just who I am. And so like, right? Good on him. Yeah, and then there was like another question, and it was like, it didn't explicitly name out Mitch Marner or John Tavares, but it was very much implying it was a question about what decisions were going to be made with them. And then future conversations on coaching staff and those decisions in terms of assistant coaches and all that sort of stuff to come in the future. And that kind of, and both Treliving and Berube kind of made it seem like it was going to be like Berube's decision on the assistant, like about who he keeps from that coaching staff. And I said my opinion on who I think we should keep. I've said it.
Yeah.
Goaltending and video. Goaltending and video.
Which is like, what were the good things from last season?
Goaltending.
Well, it wasn't the power play.
What's the power play? Goaltending and video.
Video. I'm not being funny. If we lose the video coaches, it's so over. It's so over.
But yeah, anyways, also some fun facts about Craig Berube. He played for the Leafs in 91-92, played 40 games, scored 5 goals, 7 assists. For, here we go, 109 penalty minutes. Woohoo!
Oh, well,
like if you think that like Matt Rempe was bad, you know, and I know a lot there, and I know there's talks about, you know, how the game has changed, and I've said that. I've been very vocal about how the game has changed. We've moved away from the enforcer role. But in 86-87, Craig Berube made his NHL debut with the Philadelphia Flyers. That season in the NHL, he played 7 games, scoring 0 goals, 0 assists. He had 57 penalty minutes.
Oh my.
He was +2.
Well, there we have it. Problem solved.
Anyway, yeah, but also as well, he was a part of some pretty major trades. I was looking at his Hockey DB page, and he obviously was traded to Toronto and then traded from Toronto. He was a part of some pretty major trades in his career, though. He was a part of the Flyers and Oilers Jari Kurri trade. He was traded to Edmonton for Dave Brown, Corey Foster, and Jari Kurri, with Craig Fisher and Scott Mellanby, who, please tell me you recognize at least Jari Kurri.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god, was I just sat there blank face?
Yeah, and I was listing up these names where I was like,
no, I was like, that's my listing face.
And then also how he got to Toronto is he was in the Grant Fuhr trade. Traded from Edmonton to Toronto with Glenn Anderson and Grant Fuhr for Vincent Damhouse, Peter Eng, Luke Richardson, and Scott Thornton, future considerations and cash. And then how he got to Calgary was he was in the Doug Gilmour trade. So he got sent to Toronto for Doug Gilmour. and a bunch of other pieces. There was more like there's more. It was like 4 players. It was actually so it was like 5 players on each side, which would never happen now. Imagine a 5-player trade.
Absolute carnage on Twitter.
Could you imagine a 5-player trade? And that's the thing where I'm like, I see the value in having the salary cap, right? The value is there. It makes sense. The only thing that the salary cap has taken away from us is ridiculous, like multiplayer trades where it's like 5 players each side. You don't get that anymore. It's cool when it's like 2 NHLers in the same trade.
Yeah, then we're like, it hits 2 and we're like, ooh, big trade.
Like Sam Lafferty, like when Kyle was like, oh yeah, here's Noel Acciari and Ryan O'Reilly, and then also at the same deadline, I'm gonna do Jake McCabe and Sam Lafferty.
And we're like, oh, someone's been busy.
Oh yeah, really busy with that then. But like, you know what I mean? And like that's like cool now, but it's like we don't have like the 5-player trades anymore. And I think that part of that is like it's so hard to make that work with the salary cap, unfortunately. But man, would it be fun to watch?
I think we should. Right, this is my hi Gary. I want to make a new rule. Every team per season gets 1. I can throw in whatever I want trade.
Just like, because that's the thing where like, and you know, because people do these like monster mock trades on Cap Friendly, right? Like full armchair GM mode where they're like, yeah, everyone, it's going to be like 3 actual players, a high ranking prospect, and a bunch of picks going both ways. It's like, that's not going to like work.
No.
But also like, those are fun, but like, don't do it to my team, please, because you always trade away the guys I like.
No. No one's allowed to trade with my players, my personal players.
They play for me.
Yeah, they actually they're just on loan from.
Yeah, so guys, this is when we announce that we have an NHL franchise. It's from the 4th line, Blorbos. 33 teams in the NHL, guys.
Like Barbie pink.
No. There are they're the same colors as our purple branding.
Oh my god.
Got the logo on the front.
And like on the helmets, they have like little crowns, little tiaras.
Little crown, like a decal.
Yeah. Anyway, Gary Bettman, heads up in the emails in the description.
Yeah, and I think this is what like really what it is like, I think maybe this was just something where it was like Berube won. He wore number 16 when he played for the Leafs, and that really got the Marner trade people going.
Oh.
But yeah, anyways, welcome to Toronto, Craig. Glad to have you here. Enjoy your summer.
Yeah. Have fun.
Gonna be a busy one. But yeah, so I guess now we have to talk about like the actual playoffs and like real hockey that's like getting played. They're first up in my notes. So we're doing it.
Okay.
Canucks lose game 7 to the Edmonton Oilers yesterday. So they get sent home. Prior to game 7, it was announced that there would be no Brock Besser. Even if the Canucks had moved on, he would be unavailable for the rest of the season due to a blood clot issue that was found after game 6. What I will say, and we talked about this a little bit prior to game 7, is like, how do they find blood, like,
yeah,
how do you find a blood clot? Like, this is when I don't know the symptoms of a blood clot. Like, I don't know if there would be pain. I'm assuming there would be pain. Are you looking it up?
Yeah.
You can tell we are not at all doctors.
That is no. I mean, I do archaeology.
Not
the furthest thing from being a doctor.
I'm a comms major. I mean, I am a lifeguard, but like we don't do this.
Blood clot symptoms: pain,
Pain?
tenderness, swelling, or warm feeling in the arms and legs.
So I guess then like if you have pain in a weird spot and then they'll do tests for it and stuff, and I guess that's how they find it then. But yeah, so no broadcast. I wish him all the best in a speedy recovery. That
Yeah.
also means though that double Leaf legend here. We got 2 Leafs legends slotting into the lineup for Game 7, and Sam Lafferty and Ilya Mikheyev. That I know that Ilya Mikheyev chance aged just about everyone. Every Leafs fan who was watching that game watched that Ilya Mikheyev chance where he was on straight on a breakaway, 1-0 on Stuart Skinner, and did not score.
We watched it happen,
and I was like, no,
was like,
I saw him go for it, and I literally was like, not even this. He's not scoring.
No, as soon
I would have been more surprised had he scored.
Yeah, that would have been. I would have been so shocked.
Not as shocked as Leafs legend Cody Ceci opening the scoring.
Just
I literally like I saw it, like I watched the goal. I turned to the guy sitting next to me and I was like, of course it was a former Leaf.
Yeah, because
he was like, yeah.
We will never know peace. And it's I just watched it happen and it was like in slow-mo.
All those goals. But yeah. Yeah. Cody Ceci, who in his time with the Leafs scored 1 regular season goal and 1 playoff goal. In this playoffs alone, he has already scored 2 goals.
Oh, I love this so much.
I feel crazy.
True, honestly, I'm just losing my mind.
I feel crazy. I feel a little bit crazy.
Yeah. It happens.
Like being a Leafs fan is
full-time job.
I just always feel like I'm going crazy.
Yeah. But I'm so mad. Why did they have to lose? Not only did I lose very, very badly on my first bracket.
Oh, your second bracket's also garbage?
I had the Canucks winning in my second bracket.
Oh. I thought they were going to be Dallas?
Well, no, but like I also
At least
had
you
the
get more
Leafs.
points.
Emma, I had the Leafs winning in my first bracket.
So did I. But I did have Dallas going all the way to the finals, so.
I don't think I did. I don't know. I can't remember if I did or not.
You're like my dad. My dad, every time I watched so many Stars and Avs game with my dad when I was home, I think I watched every single one with him. And every single time he would go to me and go, was Dallas always this good? Like, I didn't know Dallas was this good. I was like, Dad, they finished top of the Western Conference.
You know, like I was making
They're good.
I was making my second chance bracket and I was like, okay, like
just look at the depth on forward.
I was like,
you should have just looked at their forward depth and been like, yeah.
Oh no, like I was like, realistically, like the Stars are gonna smash it. Like I was like, but for my little delusional self,
Vancouver.
I believe in Vancouver. So yeah, rest in peace to my brackets.
Yeah, I do have a couple of notes though, because I was actually writing notes while I was in the bar.
Stop.
I keep a small notebook in my purse for random note-taking
Oh,
reasons.
Emma. That is so cute.
And so I had it out and I was writing little notes as I was watching the game, so I wouldn't forget my thoughts because I have a really bad memory with that sort of thing. So I was writing things down. The Sheila save on Edmonton's first power play. That was a great save. I just wanted to shout that out because I think he played great.
Someone give that man a gun. He has been through
No,
it.
because the shot of him, like when the game ended, and then they cut to him sitting on the bench.
It broke me, Emma. It
I
destroyed
felt
me.
so bad for him. Because, like, he exceeded expectations.
Oh, no one expected this from him. And then,
No.
like, it's like he carried the entire team. Like, I feel awful for him because, like, he went into this and he was like, okay, guess I've got to save the Canucks. And then, like, everyone else just kind of was like, yeah, we've got a goalie now. We've got a goalie. We can just, like, not do anything.
Yeah.
And then, but I think the fact that I saw so many Oilers fans on Twitter last night being like, yeah, this was not on him. Like, the fact
No.
that
Like,
so
that's
many
how you
people,
know.
like, that's how you know
When it
that
was, like,
he
even,
was
like,
unreal.
when it's, like, even Oilers fans were, like, the goal, like, kid outplayed the situation he was put in.
Yeah.
Because then this is where I go into the what ifs, where I'm like, you know what? Vancouver got really unlucky. They lost Demker. Demker. I tried to say Thatcher and Demko at the same time. Did not work. That's where that came from. They lost Thatcher Demko, what, after game 1?
Yeah.
He played 1 game and then got hurt. And then they were forced to go with DeSmith, who didn't play great. And so then they went with then they go to their AHL goal. Like,
They go to the actual baby of a goalie.
they go to the actual child. He's 23 years old, but yes. In Archer Silva. And then you know, and it goes really well. He plays great. They win their series against oh my god, why?
This is so bad.
Nashville.
Oh my god.
Was Nashville.
Yeah, that's like
It was
how
Nashville.
earlier, like, I saw someone mention the LA Kings and I was like, I forgot they existed.
I knew it was Nashville the whole time too, but it was like so far gone from my memory. But yeah, now against Nashville, they win that series up against Edmonton, and they have a great series, you know, and it's great. But then before game 7, you lose Brock Besser.
Yeah,
That's
that was
absolute just kick to the balls.
Yeah, like
That's because, like, this is Brock Besser, who has had 2 hat tricks this playoffs. Almost, well, sorry, almost 2.
1.5.
1.5. I still want to count that as a hat trick
Yeah,
because, like,
one in reality, 2.5.
because, like, yes, even though, like, the goal was then, like, he didn't get the goal.
It was his goal.
Like, 20 minutes, he had 2 hat tricks in the playoffs, right? Like, but you know what I mean? Like, the production, you take him out of the lineup and you just don't have that production.
No.
And you could tell in this game for sure because shots were 20. I wrote like 13 minutes into the second period. Shots on net were 23-4 for Edmonton.
Yeah, it was.
And Vancouver had a 4-minute power play.
It was painful.
It was bad. Like, and that was the thing. Like, and as well, also like Vancouver just allowed Edmonton to get shots on from the point. Like the Cody Ceci goal was that, and then so was the Hyman deflection off of the Bouchard shot.
Yeah.
Just you can't like they're going to take shots from there, and like if you give them that time and space there, they're going to do it and they're going to score. And Vancouver just was not finishing chances. Like they just could not score on the power play. They had a 4-minute power play because there was a double minor drawn by Pedersen. But it's just like limited shots on net. They got more in the third than when they started to make the comeback. But yeah.
That comeback.
Edmonton,
I was so
Edge of my
convinced.
seat.
I was like, because at the start of the third period, I was like, I tweeted, I was like, Canucks third period comeback.
Then they scored with 8 minutes left, and I was like, and I again turned to the same guy standing beside me and was like, they've come back in less.
Yeah.
And then just Edmonton was given chances on the power play and they were able to capitalize like they do on the power play. Like that's what happens when it's Edmonton on the power play, unfortunately. And part of the job of playing them is like if you shut down that power play in the way that Vancouver was shutting down Connor McDavid earlier in this series, like it's easier to win games. Like I feel like I'm stating the obvious with that, but like it is true.
Yeah.
And then also as well, there was a couple of celebrities in attendance. Owen Wilson was there. That was random.
Like
they showed him on the broadcast, and literally everyone was like, it was out loud, like in this bar, out loud. Everyone goes, Owen Wilson at the same time. I kid you not.
Oh.
And then also Macklin Celebrini was there, and I thought I was too drunk and imagining him for a second.
You messaged me. You was like.
I was like, please tell me you also saw Macklin Celebrini on the broadcast, so I'm not going absolutely crazy right now, and like, I'm not really drunk.
No, you completely made up Macklin Celebrini's entire existence.
Not his entire existence. I just because they showed him so quickly, so I thought I thought it was just like a really good lookalike.
Imagine.
I thought it was a really good Macklin Celebrini lookalike, and I just was like, but like that's the thing is I was like Macklin, and the guy beside me was, because the guy sitting on the other side of me was like not really a hockey fan, like didn't really know who Macklin Celebrini was, and I had to explain, being like, he's supposed to go first overall this year in the draft. He's like, oh, that's cool. But yeah, cool for the Vancouver kid. I guess I don't know, and this is where I get mad again at people being like, why is he there? Like, he's such a, like, I'm like, guys, like, you're telling me, like, if your favorite team was in the playoffs and you had an opportunity to go to a game, you wouldn't take it? Especially when tickets are like even if you were then going to play. Like, that's the thing where I wonder, I'm like, do you even like watching hockey?
Yeah, it's like, do you like watching hockey or do you like complaining on Twitter?
Because there's other things to complain about Twitter if you don't complain about on Twitter if you don't like watching hockey.
Yeah,
very easy to do.
So much.
But yeah, so Edmonton will face Dallas in the Western Conference Final to see who will go on to the Stanley Cup Final. My money's on Dallas just because Dallas is so ridiculously deep in their forward group, and Jake Ottinger's goaltending has been pretty great. And Edmonton's goaltending is questionable sometimes. I mean, Stuart Skinner's been pretty solid this back half of the season for them, but like, you just never know.
Yeah.
It's a little Russian roulette with the goaltending for Edmonton, and it has been all season. And we saw how Vancouver was able to control Edmonton when they were able to shut down Connor McDavid.
yeah, it's I
So also, I would
haven't.
love to see Dallas win. I
Yeah,
don't know.
I feel like they just feel like really fun.
It's the fat family stuff where I'm like, oh yeah, Wyatt Johnson living in Joe Pavlovsky's basement.
Yeah, it's like I love all the little narratives they've got, the little like friendships they've got going on, and I'm just like,
Friendship. I mean, and then you got Roberts in there too.
yeah, it's like it'd be nice.
It'd be nice. He was like a pleasant guy. He seems like
Yeah.
oh my god, he seems like such a nice guy.
Oh my god, no, he
Both of them.
he
Both
looks
of them.
exactly like this Squishmallow.
You guys can't see what Squishmallow.
It's just like, all you need to
You
know
were
is
like, you looks exact. I can see it,
yeah,
but the people
it
listening
looks
cannot
really
see it.
polite. It's got like the
Looks really
politest little
polite.
smile.
But yeah, you know what though? Is it weird to any our friends over at Offside did a survey for their end of season awards, and I feel like how like you don't really talk about who when you vote in an election you don't really talk about who you voted for after you've
Yeah,
voted. This is what I feel like this is what that feels like where I'm like I can't really like say who like put down in my survey answers.
yeah,
I
it's
can tell you though for the Jimmy Vesey award I put down Jimmy Vesey.
like
Did you write in Joseph Wool for every single one?
no, I did not. I voted using the options available, but for the Jimmy Vesey one, I did. I wrote in just Little Miss Vanilla.
I'm thinking about like I'm trying to think of like which one of their staff writers will have to go through that. I think it'll be Avery who'll go through the results and have to look
Oh,
at that. Anyway,
good luck.
anyways,
Brave
Avery, if you
soldier.
listen to I don't even know if Avery listens to the show, but Avery, if you are listening to the show,
We love you.
apologies
I'm so
that you
sorry.
have to go through that and you have to see that. And if it's not Avery, well then if it's one of the offside writers who listen to the show, and Avery doesn't send our deepest apologies on Marcie's behalf. I'm apologizing for Marcie. That's how Canadian I am. I will apologize for other people.
Oh my god.
But yeah, I guess that'll bring us into like the three other teams in the conference finals. A little
Mm.
talk about Dallas beat Colorado. My two notes that I have written down for the series are because we talked quite in depth about them last episode. Was Wyatt Johnson makes me feel underaccomplished at 20.
Yep.
He's now 21, but we're both the same year. And then also as well, goaltender interference, question mark, Matt Duchene's ass.
I literally my top note was just ass too fat? Question mark.
When will this come? And we need to know if now like your ass being in the crease will count as goaltender interference because this is
Sidney Crosby, I am
gonna have
so sorry.
major I was gonna say this is gonna have major implications for Sidney Crosby and the Pittsburgh Penguins. But like that's the thing where it's like every time there's like something with goaltender interference, and then there was also that in the Florida Boston game 6 where like I just don't get it. I could not tell you. And it's like I understand what goaltender interference is as a concept. It is when you interfere with the goalie, right?
Mm.
On a scoring chance, right? On a goal, and there's interference as the offensive player on the goalie, right? That
Yeah.
very basic concept, right? Why is it so complicated to understand? Because we had two cases in the span of what 2 days, and if I had friends I'd like my friend asking me like, hey Emma, like what's going on with this, and I genuinely had to answer I don't know. And then she goes, Emma, but you host our hockey podcast, and I'd be like, I don't know. And I don't think anyone could tell you.
No. Literally, that's like when I'm like back home over the holidays and stuff, and like I'll watch a game with my sister, and like there'll be a girl get called back for goaltender interference, and she'll be like, "So like, what's happened?" like the best example of this is when I went to the GB Poland game, and a goal was called back for goaltender interference, and she turned to me because that was her first ever hockey game. She was like, "So like, what actually like why is that not a goal?" And I was like, "Interference," and she was like, "What do you mean?" And I'm like, "So you experience goaltender interference, but you can never describe what actually happens."
No. And I think also as well, it's like, and then, because then, an explanation comes down from the league, and the explanation that comes down from the league is just them reiterating the rule, which is the most condescending way you can get something explained to you, when it's like, I would like clarification on this.
No, literally, it's like,
And
I'd like clarification, and I'd also like a genuine exact answer. It's like, why was this?
But you just restating the rule that I can go look up myself makes me feel like a child, and you're speaking to me like I am one.
Yeah, literally, it's like, if his ass was too juicy, say that. Have the balls to say it.
Yeah.
If you're gonna call a goal back because of that, I want you to put that in writing. Because if you can't put it in writing without it sounding absolutely insane, I mean,
yeah,
that says it all.
Well, because then we have and in Florida as well, and I don't know. This is just my thing where I'm like, and I tweeted about this too as well. As like, there used to be a time, and Dallas and Sabres fans will tell you about it. Stars fans will tell you about it, where we had one of them literally decided the results of a Stanley Cup. Right? Where goaltender interference, and it was, the space of a big toe of a skate in a crease. Right? And that used to be what it was. That used to be what the rule was like, if you were even the tiniest bit in the paint, goalie interference, no goal, right?
Yeah.
And it's gotten to the point where it's like, it's called the no goal game, right? Between Dallas and Buffalo. 1999, right? It's a whole thing. Triple OT.
I don't think anyone will ever truly know.
And it's like, that's what the rule used to be, right? And it was a time where we would have a Stanley Cup was decided based on this, right? And so now, but then we draw the line between having that and then also at the same time having where it was like, no rules, whatever goes, you can steamroll the goalie and the goal will still count, whatever. And we find ourselves in this really weird gray middle ground right now. And we are living the consequences of it. And I think, the NHL needs to make a decision either one way or another, or at least get better at making it clearer, like with more clarification on things like that in the future, so that we're not going through this situation. I guess then we could talk about Florida and Boston, because there was also a controversial call on that with, was it interference? Was it not interference? I don't know anymore. Stop making me talk about goaltender interference.
Every single time a goal gets called back for goaltender interference, I lose 10 years off my life. Like, it ages me. But, no.
But yeah, so I just, Yeah, but Florida and Boston, yeah, we got more. So Boston lost to Florida in game 6. We got more crying Brad Marchand. Afterwards, both teams play pretty physically. That's what I have. Oh, there's already rumors about Boston free agents, which of course there would be, but both Patrick Maroon and Jeremy Swayman reiterated that they both want to continue to play in Boston. Also, this is just something that I find so interesting. And, maybe this is just the difference in the two markets. And, you could be like, well, it's, they made it out of the first round and they're making it into the third round. So it just, like, at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. But Matthew Tkachuk has not scored a goal since game 1 of the second round. Just something interesting. He's gotten assists, he's gotten points. He hasn't been pointless since game 1, but he has not scored a goal since game 1. Just something I throw out there, in a 6-game series, he only scored 1 goal.
Makes you think.
Yeah. Just food for thought on that one. But then also as well, there's, we got the fun little doodah list of injuries from Boston. Jake DeBrusk was playing through a broken hand. Matt Grzelcyk had a torn oblique early in the season. Derek Forbort had surgeries on both groins and thumb ligament repair. Hampus Lindholm was playing with a knee injury that he sustained in February. Danton Heinen had a lingering injury in the playoffs, unknown, and David Pastrnak had groin issues and is now at Worlds. Which there was not a lot of like hubbub on the fact, like, I don't know, maybe it was just because I wasn't really like too much on Twitter over the weekend, but it was like not a lot of chatter about David Pastrnak being at Worlds. And then I'm watching the game today of Canada versus Czechia, and they're like, oh, and David Pastrnak takes the pass and takes it down the ice, and I was like, Pastrnak, like David Pastrnak? And so then I had to look up if there was any other Czech hockey players with the last name Pastrnak.
Oh dear.
Because I was like, no one talked about the fact that he was going to Worlds. So.
Yeah, I feel like I also can't really say like whether a lot of people were talking about it or not, because I have also not been on Twitter much this weekend.
Yeah, you had an essay to write. I was out doing stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyways, Florida will take on the New York Rangers, who beat the Carolina Hurricanes in 6 games. I have Chris Kreider hat trick for New York to come back from behind to beat Carolina. Philip Schittle may play in the Eastern Conference Final versus Florida. Apparently, he took a practice after only playing 1 game in the second round. Feels fine. I also, as well, some news out of Carolina, though. Ron Brind'Amour re-signs for 5 years as head coach. So good thing the Leafs weren't waiting on him. I know it was kind of like a far out thought of like the Leafs being able to get Ron Brind'Amour as their head coach, but that was some but yeah, anyways, also as well, if you would like to if you would like some fun end of season quotes to read, because you just like reading the fun ones, read through anything related to Seth Jarvis.
He's such like just a little goblin, and I love it. Like, he's genuinely one of the most entertaining people to just listen to.
Sorry, I just saw what you sent me.
I thought that was groundbreaking news.
It was. But yeah, Seth, to be in a room with Seth Jarvis and just have a conversation with him.
Seth Jarvis, have you heard of the From the Fourth Line podcast? And if not, can he interest you in an interview?
Would love to have a conversation with him. He just seems like the most entertaining guy to talk to. But yeah, he was playing through a crazy injury as well.
Yeah,
torn labrum.
Yeah,
which is shoulder. Ish shoulder. It's there. It's in that shoulder area.
If you look at your shoulder, it's there.
There's a lot of stuff going on. It just shoulder hurty at the end of the day.
Shoulder hurty.
Shoulder hurty.
Oh dear.
But yeah, so we'll see. I mean, Carolina has a couple of big free agents. Coming through where will Jake Gensel go? That's a big question.
Yeah.
Natchez, where will he go? Quite a few.
Yeah,
I feel like there's one more big one that I wanted to. I'm just pulling up the cap friendly right now just to. Oh yeah. Oh, sorry. It's not a little bit. It's half their forward group. Jack Drury is an RFA. Maxime Comtois is an RFA. Seth Jarvis is an RFA. Martin Natchez is an RFA. I forgot they had Nick Suzuki's brother. He's an RFA. Jake Gensel is a UFA. Jordan Martinook is a UFA. Stefan Nochin is a UFA. Teravainen's a UFA. Oh my god.
Do they have anyone left?
Brady Shea, UFA. Brett Pesky, UFA. I guess, also Tony DeAngelo's UFA. That's not groundbreaking. Nor do I care. It's like if you aren't a free agent this season, half of the guys who aren't a free agent this season are a free agent next year. After next season. Look at their cat friendly page. Oh, there's some big decisions to be made for Carolina, and I do not envy the person who has to be in that position.
No.
I do not envy being Don Waddell right now because, just look at it. Are you looking at it?
I've pulled it up. I've just pulled it up now. Oh my god, there really is just no one left.
Right? And look at it's even if you are here next year, half of them aren't going to be there the year after. Kuznetsov is up. Jesper Fast is up. I guess Brendan Lemieux is not a huge thing. But then you got Dmitry Orlov would be up, Jacob Slavin would be up, Brett Burns would be up, and then you also Freddie Anderson would be up, and Spencer Martin. Yeah.
There is literally I'm sure I'm in actual shock.
You could also the way is how it is as well is why is sorry, I just looking at Jordan Stahl's how long he's still around at his age. Anyways. Why? Anyway. But But like looking at that and like looking at like the guys who have trade protection and then whose contract is up and then looking at all the picks, you could almost totally flip your lineup in 2 years.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Because look at how many picks they have. They have all 3 of their first and second round picks for the next 3 drafts. Then they have all of their 4th rounds, and then they have 6 round picks in the next 3 years, and they have all of their 7. The only picks they're missing is 2/3 and a 5th. And if they remember if they had made it to the Stanley Cup final, they would have gotten another first for the Jake Gensel trade. Anyways, Carolina is one of those fun teams that'll be fun to watch in the offseason. I know there's always a couple that we always say about which ones will be fun to watch during the summer. Carolina is one of those teams that I would keep an eye on this offseason for sure.
Mm-hmm.
They'll be fun to watch, see what goes on over there. But yeah, I don't know if you saw the picture though of Chris Kreider picking up the hats on his front lawn. With his headphones on too.
I never thought I'd relate to
Chris Kreider.
Anyone on the New York Rangers, but he might be a hockey player, but in that moment, spiritually, he was a teenage girl.
Like, he is my sister who wears her big over-the-ear, like, Sony headphones when we are in the car going literally anywhere.
My big over-the-ear Sony headphones that you can't actually see.
Yeah. No, but, like, she'll wear those, and then we'll literally be driving somewhere, like, 15 minutes, and she'll have those, and it'll be, like, me driving. I'm like, is my taste in music really that bad?
Oh.
Which I know based on our blend, you do not think my taste in music is bad.
No, we have the
exact. It is also your taste in music.
Yeah, my taste in music is your taste in music.
I've just started instead of listening to like my liked songs or my I have a yearly playlist that I add to throughout the year. Instead of listening to those two, I just listen to our blend. Because it's a new one every day.
I've just opened Spotify. The current playlist I'm listening to is in fact our blend. I think.
But yeah. I really am rooting for New York here because Florida. Also, you know what? Think about it this way. If New York wins a Stanley Cup, we will never have to hear about 2014 ever again.
You make a point.
This is why, like, the people who are like, who like don't want the Leafs to win a cup. I'm like, guys, think about it. If the Leafs win a cup, you will never have to hear about 1967 ever again.
You will finally know peace.
We will be free of 1967, the year that haunts me. Haunts me. But yeah, we have trades already as well. We have a trade to announce. It is May. We have a trade to announce. The Nashville Predators trade Ryan McDonagh to the Tampa Bay Lightning, along with Edmonton's 4th round 2024 pick for a 7th 2024 pick, and also as well a 2nd round 2025 draft pick. Ryan McDonagh, who recently graduated university, by the way, congrats to university graduate Ryan McDonagh on that accomplishment.
I have that down. I have just a recent college graduate.
Ryan McDonagh. There's the title of our episode. waived his no move clause for this. He said he wanted to return home to Tampa after getting traded to Nashville in 2022. According to Bruce Boyle, who's the GM of the Tampa Bay Lightning, this additional $6 million of McDonagh's contract will not affect their ability to get the Stamkos deal done in terms of available cap space. Now, of course, this happening coincidentally on the same day as the Craig Berube press conference did then lead to some thoughts that potentially this could mean that Nashville is freeing up cap space for a Mitch Marner trade. No, it is not. That's not what they're doing. They have to eat $6 million of Matt Duchene's buyout next season.
Yeah, I just
think
sometimes
critically.
Not even critically, just think.
Just think. Yeah. So that's that. We have trades already.
Woohoo.
Okay. Woohoo.
So
but yeah, and then also, so it begins. Yeah. So Canada also as well, some Worlds updates. Canada today with their overtime win. Way to go, Dylan Cousins. Short-handed too, by the way.
Ooh, go on, Dylan.
Canada goes undefeated in the prelims at Worlds. They are going to face Slovakia in the quarters as their first matchup. So that'll be fun. Unfortunately, Team GB and Poland both finished at the bottom of their groups and will get relegated back down.
Yeah. They won their last game as well. Why did
No, they did against Austria.
Oh.
They won against Austria.
I cannot escape watching teams that just feel very leafy. Like, yeah, I'm not annoyed. I'm just, it's a shame. Like oh, GB. I don't even want to talk about it. They were fun to watch.
They were fun to watch.
They tried. They put up a good fight. Yeah, they they put up a good fight. But it wasn't meant to be this year. But it's fine because
Next year.
they're gonna come back, and next time they play Canada, it is over for you.
Jesus Christ. But yeah. No, but you did have a good day otherwise, though. With your Manchester Storm.
Yeah, I did. I had a very good day. I love when my girlies get re-signed. Huge. And also, thank you to my close personal friend, the Manchester Storm Twitter admin, who replied to not one but two of my tweets today.
Wow.
And my my favorite was when I quoted, I was like, the goat is back. This is the best day of my life. And they replied me like, just for you. And I'm like, stop it. We are in
the amount of times we've talked about being like, well, Manchester Storm, if you ever want to, I don't know, make a player available.
Yeah, if you ever want a term.
We would love to get Alex Odell on the show.
Oh my god, if we could get Alex Odell, I would I would do something very drastic.
Love to get him on the show. Yeah, so in PWHL news, good to know that Toronto Hockey's first round curse is all for gender equality.
Mm.
You know what?
Ally.
Feminism.
Feminism at its finest.
Feminism at its finest is that the curse does not see gender.
All genders are equal in
You know,
Toronto hockey.
in Toronto. But yeah, after being up 2-0 on Minnesota, Toronto loses in overtime game 5 to lose the first round against the team they picked to play in the playoffs. That's the worst part, because then it's just people have like a reason to laugh at you.
Oh yeah, it's so much worse than just being like, oh yeah, like we ended up playing against them and we lost. It's we picked this team because we thought we could win, and we didn't.
Yeah, I know, that's what it is.
It's I would hate to be the first person that suggested playing Minnesota right now.
Yeah, that's the thing where I was like, how was it a thing where it was like you voted? Was it a close vote, or was it like the coach's decision? Was it a general manager decision? Did the players have input? That's what I want to know. I don't know if we'll ever find that out, but so that means yes, the finals are taking place between Boston and Minnesota, and no, I'm not going to say therefore I've stopped watching. I just have prioritized other sports instead.
Mm. Can I say something about the Boston and Minnesota?
What?
There's a lot of women from Minnesota and Boston.
And there's our one sanctioned miracle reference for the episode. Thank you, everybody.
I have that written down. And then in just brackets, I was like, miracle reference with like 3 exclamation marks.
So you were waiting for me to bring it up, were you?
I have waited all day for it, Emma. And it's currently 32 minutes past midnight. And I've waited all day. You are so sick of me. For people who unfortunately cannot see, Emma's just head in hands right now, shaking her head. Still head in hand, sick and tired of me.
Well, anyways, it also was announced today that the PWHL and Barbie will be doing a collaboration on some merch that will get released. That's cool. It's a lot of pink. Pink's fun. Barbie's fun. It's cool that they're working with a brand like Barbie, who's a pretty global brand. So that's cool. Yeah, also as well, because Kyle Dubas loves his guys, to switch gears a little bit and talk about the Pittsburgh Penguins. Pittsburgh signs Leaf draft. He never played with the Leafs, did he? No. Did he ever even play with the Marlies, Philip Kroll? I should have looked this up beforehand.
Yes.
He did play with the Marlies?
He was in one of the PowerPoints I made.
Oh, he did play with the Leafs last year.
Yeah.
2 games.
He was in my Leafs PowerPoint. That I need to make this year's.
He played 2 games and got a penalty. Nice. But he played this year in what league is this? Where is SM Liga? That's not the Czech league. Is that Swedish league, SM Liga? Or is it the Swiss league? Swedish. Anyways, signs Leaf draft pick and former Leaf and Marley, Philip Kroll, to a 1-year $775,000 deal. Because Kyle Dubas loves his guys. Hey, he wasn't a Sioux Greyhound.
Yeah. That I thought that's like the bar.
He wasn't a greyhound. But he is a young 24-year-old guy. Like he's 24 years old. Only got 2 games in the leagues in the national in the NHL. So it seemed like it's not gonna hurt, right? I'm pretty sure it was a 2-way deal anyway. So but yeah. But you know what I did get today? I did get my John Tavares David Camp face off.
As a treat.
And no, neither of them really won it. It was a tie. Which honestly, maybe is expected. I'm sure they probably practice face-offs against each other. Like when they're with the Leafs, because they're both big face-off guys for the Leafs.
Yeah.
Big face-off guys.
Big face-off guys.
But that's the thing. I saw them play. I was like, I just want one line matchup where there's a face-off. Just give me one.
He's like, please,
please, as a treat.
Pretty please, I've been good.
Yeah, I don't know if you have anything else you wanted to add. I'm trying to think of if I've missed anything.
I don't think I do. I think.
Oh, actually, well, there was the one thing that I had written down that was just that Mike Sullivan is to coach Team USA at Four Nations, which not surprising considering how bad of a job John Hines is doing at Worlds right now with Team USA.
Yeah.
So. That's just all I want to say. So, which will probably also probably lead, if he does a good job, Mike Sullivan will coach at Olympics. He was supposed to coach at the 2022 Olympics for Team USA before then the NHL players were not sanctioned to go and participate, and therefore NHL coaches couldn't go. But that'll lead to some fun when he's going up against Team Canada assistant GM Kyle Dubas, who is also his boss.
Oh, what a time.
I'm so excited for Four Nations, though. Like, Best on... I miss Best on Best.
It'll be good.
It'll be good. I think about that magical, mythical Sidney Crosby, Connor McDavid, Connor Bedard line.
Think about it a lot.
That's how I fall asleep at night.
You just have the three of them printed out and just stuck next to each other on the ceiling.
Okay, I'm not that crazy. Did you see the TikTok of it's the person who has the Sidney Crosby collage next to their bed?
I saw that. I was like, you know what? I kind of respect it.
I mad respect it. Because honestly, if I had access to like the Hockey News magazine as a 12-year-old, would have been making one.
Yep.
We know how I feel about Sidney Crosby.
All too well.
I cannot wait for when he comes up on my my Pittsburgh Penguins dog calendar. Right now it's Tristan Jarry, so.
Oh, yay!
Yeah.
Just a little guy.
Isn't he like, isn't he like 6'3"?
Yeah, a little guy. Like that's just like teeny tiny.
Actually, he's 6'2".
Oh, even smaller.
He's a double middle name guy.
What?
Tristan Seth Michael Jarry.
Sure. Oh, that is a name and a half. I did not know that.
I didn't know that either.
You learn something new every day.
Huh.
Hmm. But no, I think I was able to make my miracle reference of the episode, so I'm happy now. I've had my treat. I'm so glad it's played out this way.
Yeah, with that being said, I think we can end the show here.
Yay!
So we'll be back on Thursday.
That we will.
Talk about playoff hockey. I mean, second round starts tomorrow with New York and Florida. Now it's like, what, a game a day?
We're being deprived.
I know. Yeah.
Like, it's no fun when I'm not having to, like, split screen my laptop 3 ways whilst also writing an essay.
You know what, though? It's like, it's kind of, as much as it's like, well, the Leafs aren't in the playoffs, and I know some people are like, once their team's out of playoffs, they stop watching, but I enjoy hockey as a sport, so I will continue watching till the end of the season. But it's like, when you know the season's coming to an end, because, you know, the playoffs are almost over, it's kind of, I don't like it.
No, so it's like, what are we supposed to do with our time? Like, we're supposed to have lives?
Yeah. Apparently.
Ew, no, I don't like that. I don't want to do that. I want to spend every night inside watching hockey. Thank you very much.
Me too. And well, what I do instead is I watch baseball. So
I mean, yeah, I sometimes, if I'm up early enough through the summer, I get to watch like the Australian League or the New Zealand,
yeah,
which are always fun to watch.
I've been starting to get them on my TikTok.
Yes, spreading the agenda.
Adelaide is the prime. That's the team I've been getting the most on. Most on my For You page on TikTok is Adelaide's whatever their team name is. Adelaide whatever attack or something. Starts with an A.
Yeah. But no, I always like having they're on really early for me. It's like because of the time difference, it's like 7.
Well, how early? Like, and then think about how it would be for me.
Yeah. But for anyone who's like not in the US or Canada, if you're up early enough, give it a watch.
Yeah, it's hockey in the winter. Well, it's hockey in the summer, their winter, so it actually works out. You know, I always wonder. I'm like, is there like guys who go in the off? I guess maybe you would want still to like have an off season, so it's not really like doesn't really make sense to do. But like in the off season, like after your season is done, you go play in the Australian League. But you would have like no recovery time. Like you're just playing hockey.
That'd be a lot.
Yeah. Perhaps maybe not the best idea.
Maybe go enjoy your like a nice fancy holiday in the sun.
Yeah. Yeah. Get healthy. Work out. With that being said though, we're gonna end it here. Thank you so much for listening. We'll be back on Thursday with another episode. You can find the show wherever you get your podcasts. You can follow it on Twitter. So you follow us there. And then also if you turn on tweet notifications, we don't spam too much on the Twitter for the pod account, but you can always get notified whenever we put up a new episode. But it's fun. It's fun.
Sometimes we tweet random stuff like our
Bobby
McMahon,
our mom. Yeah.
Which, by the way,
we're still awaiting his acceptance speech from him. That has yet to come in.
It's he's taking time to really put effort in and like properly craft it.
Yeah.
But no, I want to say for the tweet, I I cooked it up on Canva. After we finished recording the last episode, I opened Canva and I was like, right, how do I make this the best graphic anyone's ever seen?
And then you almost typed out booby.
I did type out booby. I typed out booby McMahon, and then as I was like putting pictures in, I was like, hang on,
That's not his name.
that's not how you spell his name. But yeah, I don't think there's anything that screams Blurber of the Year award more than having your college headshot in a golden frame with a pink fluffy tiara
Blurber of the Year.
right next to a trophy. I think that
that
perfectly encompasses everything about.
But yeah, if you want to see more genius creations like that, as soon as we post them on Twitter, you can follow the show at From the Fourth Line. That's fourth with the number 4 TH, and you can turn the tweet notifications on and never miss when we tweet from there. Or you can follow Marcie at Twitter at 60leaks, or you can follow myself at PearB1. Did anyone actually end up following you on Letterboxd after last episode?
I don't know. Let's check.
Because I did put it in the description. Did you see that?
I did see that. I was very happy. I need to check.
I do keep my promises.
You do. Oh, I have gained 1 new follower recently.
So maybe perhaps that's what it is.
I hope so. I just think people enjoy my reviews.
But yeah, with that being said, that is all for now. I'm gonna go eat dinner and then work on my research essay.
I'm gonna go finish my exam. So I will, by the time this is up, fingers crossed, I will have basically finished my 2nd year of uni. I'll be free.
And you will have only 1 year left.
Oh, well, until I go on to be more miserable and
do a master's.
Well,
that's on you.
Yeah, that's on me for picking a degree and a career that if I don't do a master's, I'm basically screwed.
Yeah, and then there's me who's like, well, I'm done. When I'm I'm graduating, I'm like,
I'm going into the big world now.
To go hopefully get a job in the field that I want.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed.
If this is just not an entire resume.
I mean, if not, I'm sure there's jobs near me. I'm sure there's jobs near me going.
I'm not, I can't stay up late enough to watch the Leafs play if I move to England.
Make it work.
I can barely do a West Coast game.
Well, we'll make it work. Don't worry.
Sure. All right. Thank you so much for listening, everyone.